Voila, woot woot. Welcome to the workshop with Bedrock Business Builders. If I've repeated myself, I'm sorry, but now we are recording. Now it is live. Now we are here. We're going to start for the morning. We're going to stretch our arms real high. We're going to take a big breath in. Hold it for a second. We're going to go, ah. And you know why you do that ah sound? It's because then you are having your pituitary gland in the back of your head, right? It vibrates, and oxytocin, that love hormone, it releases all throughout your body. And when we're doing accounting, when we're doing bookkeeping, we're doing taxes, when we're working from home, remote working, we want to love what we do, right, Marianne? Do you love what you do? I see pictures of what you do. Do you love it?
Of course, very much. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone.
Do you take breaks?
Evening.
It
Now.
is.
Good
Yeah, you
morning.
take, right, good morning, right? Good morning, good evening. I know it's evening where I am. I'm in New York, but you all are in
Good evening.
the
Morning.
Philippines. So it is morning, Saturday morning. Fantastic time to start learning about taxes. I don't know who doesn't want to learn about taxes at Saturday morning, right? I think it's commitment, dedication to what you're doing and what you want to learn. I'm very impressed with it, actually, because I don't think I was necessarily that dedicated to what I wanted to learn at different times. So we're going to do one more time. We're going to go up. We're going to stretch because people are still coming in the room. We're going to do spare fingers. That big breath in. Hold it and then go, ah. And I know you're saying, Elizabeth, why are you doing that like sound? Do I really have to do that? And I'm going to say, yes, you really have to do that. Okay. Some of the most powerful CEOs in the world will do what is called, it's an H breath, it's a Buddha breath. There's lots of different reasons or different names for it. But what it does is it gets you ready. Every 45 minutes, I do that. In fact, when you remote work, you want to instill getting up and moving around and doing different things. I find it most helpful to block schedule what I'm doing, to finish a task and then move on, right? Marianne, do you block tasks or are you all over the place when you're doing your remote work? You got to give me some insights. I know you got lots of clients.
I'll do normally multitask. I don't know how to block sometimes.
You multitask. Oh my goodness. See, when I multitask, sometimes I lose some stuff. So I like to focus on one client, then take a break, focus on another client. But that is the beauty of owning your own business, right? Is that you kind of get that choice to be able to do those things. And even within bookkeeping, accounting, tax preparation, you still get that chance. However, I'm going to give you a little insight that when you're doing somebody's bookkeeping or accounting or tax preparation, if you start having windows, I'm called the tab monster, okay? Because I will have a million different tabs open all at the same time. You want to make sure that all the tabs that you have open in one set is for one set of clients. Because it's easy when what the things that we're looking at, they're meticulous, they're to the detail, right? And to make it so we are sticking with those details. We've got so many people coming into the room, I gotta admit. So far, there's 31, 3 more joining. It's very exciting that so many are here. We've done this work. Well, it's not gonna be exactly the same, I have to admit, even though we've done this workshop before. And even while I'm talking, you see I'm going back and forth here and there. I'm letting people in. I keep chit-chatting. Sometimes we want to focus. Now, in the Zoom room, I'm going to tell you that we have the ability to have our cameras on. You're more than welcome to if you'd like to. There's going to be a time where you can ask questions and you can unmute yourself. The chat is a fabulous place to hang out. I like to hang out in the chat. In fact, while Joe's talking, I am going to hang out in the chat. You're going to see that I'm going to share different links and I'm going to share different resources with you. As you participate with us, I'm going to give away free resources because I'm all about those giveaways and free stuff. That's, I think it helps. And I think it also motivates. And don't tell anybody, but I think Joe is actually coming into the room. Woot, woot. All right, that's exciting because we want to start on time. My time is important. Your time is important. We don't want to waste any of it. Joe, you're in the room. Woohoo. We've been chit-chatting for a little bit. going through about how we like block scheduling. I've been doing those H breaths, you know, we did some earlier today. I can't help myself. Oxytocin all day long. We gotta love what we do. Um, and we still have more people coming into the room. It's 37 people. Marianne, can you tell us a little about who you are and what you do and how did you meet up with Joe DeChara? Just a smidgen, all right? I know everybody in here knows who you are, so I want you to do a little introduction. And then Joe, I'm gonna have you take it away. I'm actually gonna make it so you can share your screen. Are you ready to share your slides, Joe?
Oh, am I sharing? I thought
It's,
you would do. Yeah,
well,
yeah, I can do
yeah,
it.
you wanna do it? Okay, if you can't,
Right.
I'll pull it up. Okay, but let me,
Are you in the Philippines, Elizabeth?
I am in the Philippines. In my virtual background, I am. Thanks to Janine. That is exactly where I am. They are our social media guru, Janine. She has made it so our backgrounds are, they've got our logos, they've got it so our outside ones are all in the Philippines, so we could take little vacations even while we're remote
Yeah.
working.
I want to go there.
Mm-hmm. All right, Marianne. So I've like said it to you 3 times, right? I'm amping everybody up to hear your
Wow.
introduction and how you met up with Joe. All right, that's what I done did.
Okay, yeah. So good morning, good evening, guys. So I'm Marianne, and I'm pretty sure you know me as Miss Yan Yan on our group, Accounting People. So just to give you a brief background why the group are created. Just last year, I joined the freelancing last March, and I have a group also. I've been joining group everywhere in Facebook group. So we found out there's a group of accounting people where can we have a group chat. It so happened that I'm a newbie that time, and I have so many questions. I'm having a hard time to backread all the questions and some notes or materials that I've given. Then I told them we don't have a group that we can save all the files there for easy access. So nobody said it's very hard. So when I said I will initiate, I have a group of 7 people who immediately said, I'm willing to be your admin, Miss Yan Yan. So from then on, I create a FB group last August 13. And then that's started for the FB group accounting peoples. And that's it. So it grows up to now we're 2,600 already as
Wow.
of today. So I'm so overwhelmed, and I'm so thankful for joining here, always listening to my webinar. But yeah, just to give you history why I met Joe. So I'm into freelancing, so I'm jumping into one client to another. And then eventually I found the post of Bedrock that time, and I already want to scale up. I saw the post of a tax preparer. I just tried my luck. Actually, I don't have any background of tax preparer, but I saw the requirements and the training that the Bedrock will offer. So luckily, of course, the proposal, the interview, it went so well with Joe. And even in my interview, I introduced already accounting people that I have a group of bookkeepers here in the Philippines, that we have a group of support group that we can help each other. So then that's it. I've hired last January, or I think March. But then again, that's the good thing. I think it happens for a reason. So, but then again, I left Bedrock, but I guarantee Joe that I will come back, and I'm willing to help my group with the help of Joe. And then yeah, we come up with this idea that you can help our people here in the Philippines to get into the US clients and grow their business just like mine.
So Marianne, even though you didn't have any tax preparation experience, you're still going to join the Bedrock Business Builders course. You're still going to learn what we're doing, right? Because I think one of the benefits of working with Bedrock Business Builders and being even an employee or a contractor with Bedrock Business Builders is that you learn so much working with Joe. I had paid, no joke, over $300,000 for my education, my law school hoity-toity education in the United States. And I learned more working with Joe more often than not than I did throughout that whole experience. So I'm very excited that you're still within the Bedrock Business Builders family and fold. And even if you're not an employee, you are definitely a leader within Bedrock Business Builders. You're going to be a leader within the course. All right. Okay. And we are incredibly honored to be part of your group and what you do and how you do it. And today we're going to show everybody who's in here now at 57 people. Oh my goodness. And there's still more people coming in. We're going to talk about American taxes. We're going to talk about American accounting and bookkeeping. And Joe, are you ready to share your screen, you think?
I'm ready, but first I'd like to thank Marianne for, she said, nothing happens by chance. Everything happens for a reason. And I knew when we spoke to her that there was something special about her. Not everybody goes out and starts a Facebook group with not having any experience doing it. And you knew enough, Marianne, to get the assistance before you started the group. So I didn't know about that, about you. But yeah, those assistants are key, because one thing that I know about business is you can't do anything on your own. Not if you really want to be successful. And kudos to you. You know, you joined our Facebook group, and that didn't happen by chance either. I said, you know, I want to attract people that want to learn about bookkeeping and taxes. So I started a Facebook group, and the first 7 people in our group were people that were our team members, because I made them join. I said, we can't have a group with just one person. So I made Elizabeth join, I made Luz join. And little by little, you know, we're up to like 80 something people. We're very particular about who we accept, because we want people like you, people in your group that aspire to be accountants and bookkeepers, and with not necessarily any experience. And I taught my mother how to do bookkeeping 20 years ago, because I needed a freelancer and I didn't know anybody. So my mom was available. She became my test subject, and it worked. And now I've probably, I lost track, I should keep count. I probably taught hundreds of people how to do bookkeeping from in front of the computer, wherever they are. So I consider it an honor and a privilege every time I get to teach somebody, because that's another opportunity to empower people. You know, that's what I believe I'm really here for. That's what you're here for, Marianne. That's what Elizabeth is here for, to be the conduit for people that have a desire, but might not have the platform, might not have the funds. And that's important. You know, everything that we do at Bedrock we make it affordable for people that can't normally afford this kind of training. Okay, from our bookkeeping package to our Facebook group to our free mastermind group that Elizabeth runs every Friday. And, you know, we have a lot of fun. That's important too. I see you traveling all over the place. You know, posting on Facebook, and I'm like, you enjoy your life, and that's important. I think it was your child's 10th birthday, or is
Yeah,
it?
on May 1, Labor Day. Actually,
Yeah,
literally Labor Day for me that day. That's
yeah.
Labor Day, yeah.
So anyway, that's my spiel about you know, the group. Everyone in this workshop tonight, I believe, came from your group. We specifically targeted your group because of who you are. And I'll tell you, when I met you, I think you were up to like 1,400 people, and now you're all over 2,600. That's not easy. That's not easy to grow that fast. So you must be doing something right. And not only are you growing, you have a lot of activity. You know, there's a lot of activity going on, a lot of questions being asked, a lot of answers. So, you know, I see big things in your future. And like Elizabeth said, we're really honored to have you in our family. And, you know, is more to come. Believe me, a lot more to come. We've been talking, and we'll be doing some more projects that, again, empower people, give them the information that they need. My superpower, I believe, is to take these complicated, seemingly impossible situations in the US with our tax code, with business, and break it down to as simple as possible so that people could see the forest from the trees. They could see a clear path to how they can do this. And I could tell you, I taught my mom how to do bookkeeping to the point where she was teaching me stuff. So when your students start teaching you, you're doing a good job. And some of the people on our team, Luz, Tisha, they came in, they didn't know what wave apps were. They never did a tax return. And this tax season, they did it all. They're doing tax returns, they're reviewing each other's work. And that's, what I promise is that if you go through the course, this is just an introduction to what we're going to be doing in the course. But anyone that takes the course will have that ability to do a tax return from start to finish, meaning taking somebody's books and records from scratch, doing their bookkeeping, getting to a balance sheet and a P&L, and how to put it on a tax return and submit it to the IRS. How does that sound?
I'm super stoked about it, Joe.
Excited.
Okay.
Excited.
We're waiting to get you on the accounting team, Elizabeth. I know you've been picking up a lot, so we just got to train you and Drake. So yeah, let's. Can I share my screen now?
You should be able to. In fact, I'm going to take away Marianne's spotlight, right? I'm going to remind everybody in Zoom, what we have is we have the ability to do those reactions, right? We can love things. We can laugh at things that Joe's saying. We can give a thumbs up. We can even clap about it, right? Because what we're doing right now is we're still going to teach you the introduction to American taxes, bookkeeping, and accounting. We're here to give you more information. We're here to be a resource for you. And that is what is most important. Now, Joe, it's all up to you because I'm so busy letting people in. Can you imagine? There's 70 people and they're still coming in. That's why I need you to do the screen, because I'm also, if you participate, if you do different things, I'm going to be in the chat. I'm going to be sharing links and resources and freebies, all right, that you'll be able to get, and it'll help you throughout this process, because we're all here to benefit one another. Bedrock is Team Bedrock, and we all do different things, and we all have different, what is it, superpowers? Janine turns us, skill sets, superpowers. Janine turns us into different superheroes in our marketing, which I think is amazing and fun and funny in a lot of ways. So everybody here is going to get the benefit of that. We're all going to diversify ourselves in what we're doing so we can be here full out and play full out for you guys. Okay. So I'm not going to say anymore right now, Joe, but I might interrupt you just because I can't help it.
Yeah, please interrupt me, because you know me, I can go on off on tangents. I can get up on the pulpit and start preaching. So don't let me do that. Please help me. Also,
no way.
So also, if anybody has questions, feel free, put them in the chat. If I can, believe it or not, stop the slides to answer questions. I will stop every so often. I might stop and get a drink of water. Maybe we'll take a short break. But without further ado, let me introduce you to the course that we created for Marianne's group that we plan on taking out to the rest of the world if they show us that they're as worthy as you people. So this is a certification course, meaning that if you go through the whole course, if you go, you pass the quizzes, you complete the real life project that we have for you, you will get a certificate. It's not just show up and get a certificate. Okay, it's not a participation certificate. We appreciate everybody's participation, but we want people that can hold up their Bedrock certificate and be proud of it and use it as a credential. And we will end the course. And let me stress, this is not the course. This is just a workshop to introduce you to some of the things that we're going to cover in the course. And what I mean by some is, you know, business taxes, it's a moving target. Things are happening all the time. Things like with Venmo, with international transactions, with foreigners doing business in the United States, with crypto. I mean, I can go on and on. So we will possibly, you know, 99.9% probably share, you know, current events that are happening, because this is also, it's not a short course, it's 13 weeks. And to be honest with you, I don't think that's enough time to really give you all the content and information that we have. So let's dive into this. This is a revolutionary system, because what I mean by that is nobody else has it. Nobody else does exactly what we do. They might wind up with the same results, which is to get a complete and accurate tax return submitted to the IRS. Not only that, more importantly, to get paid for it. Okay, you know, I've done plenty of tax returns for free. You know, I did it when I was in college. I learned how to do it. But we show people how to make money in this business, okay, and how to become independent. What I love about what Marianne teaches is to be a freelancer and to have control over your own destiny. So what I'd like to point out here is this is what I believe. I've been doing this for over 40 years now. I'm going to be 62 in June. If you're a client of Bedrock, you actually get brownies sent to you on your birthday. That's one of our marketing angles, which we will cover in our workshop. But what's happened now is what I call the perfect storm of opportunity for people in your situation. Let me just take a second here. Okay. We'll go through all of the different issues that are upcoming, that are present in the United States, like 1099s, people reporting income. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll know before the end of this workshop. Problems with the IRS, which is the government entity that most American people fear. There's no reason to fear them if they have us as a client, if they're a client of ours. Also, we're going to show you different tools and resources that we use, marketing your business. We're going to sprinkle in everything that you need to successfully launch your own freelance career. Now, a freelancer is a couple of different things in my eyes. It means, number one, you make your own hours, okay? You decide who you're going to work with. And I don't say who you're going to work for, who you're going to work with. Okay, so you could have your own practice. You could do taxes and bookkeeping on your own, which means you have your own clients. You could freelance for firms like ours. You know, there's a lot of accounting firms out there that just need freelancers to fill in the gaps that they have in their practices, and I'll cover that. There's a shortage of accountants, and there's a shortage of good people for accountants to hire, which raises the prices of accounting for American businesses. Also, you could be a freelancer and work full-time for somebody. So freelancing to me isn't just owning your own business. It's really, when I hear the word freelance, I hear free, which means you're free. You can write your own ticket. You're not 9 to 5 on somebody else's clock, and that's what this is for. So I've already basically covered who this is for. Right now, this program is pretty much closed to people that are in Marianne's group, people that I see most of you are already accountants, bookkeepers, you have knowledge. That's fine. If you have no knowledge, that's fine also. Like I said, my mom, I love her dearly, but when she started with me, all she knew about the internet was how to shop and play games. She still does that. But, when I told her I was going to teach her bookkeeping online, she thought I was crazy. But, she's an entrepreneur just like me. That's where I got it from. So if you have a desire and no knowledge, no experience, this is for you, because the key word is desire. Okay, we want people that want this. This is the opportunity. Okay. It's like I said, the perfect storm for us. When I went to school for accounting was the major. Everybody wanted to be an accountant. Why? Because there were accounting jobs all over the place. If you pick up the help wanted, the accountants were 2 pages. And if you wanted a computer job, there weren't any. There were no technology jobs. They didn't exist. If you were going for a technology job, you were a geek. You were looked at like you're an outcast. It's not like that anymore. Today, there's not enough accounting students. Why? Because it became hard. It was hard to become a CPA. It was hard to get into the industry. It was easier and more exciting to learn technology. So we've had 2 or 3 generations since I've been in where I saw, a multitude of accountants to where accountants are forced now to outsource. There are literally not enough accountants in the United States to handle the workload. Okay. On top of that, there's more business owners now than ever. And a lot of that has to do with COVID. It used to be work from home was a luxury. Then it became work from home was good business because you reduced your travel. Now work from home is the norm. Okay, we have what we call the Great Resignation in the United States. And after COVID, about 4 million people decided not to go back to work. Those are people that had jobs and just said, I'm not working anymore. Well, they didn't say I'm not working. I said that. They said, I'm not going back to this brick and mortar job anymore. And I know a bunch of people, even on my team, they started doing this. They didn't know that they could work from home. They didn't know that there was this opportunity. So 4 million people were forced to work from home, whether they liked it or not. And they liked it. So a lot of those people, I believe, have started businesses, either full-time, part-time, but for a lot of them, it's a life choice. It's a quality of life situation. Okay, they've learned that spending 3 hours going back and forth trying to get to and from a job is a waste of time. 3 hours is 15 hours a week. That's 60 hours a month. Try to add that up over your lifetime. I don't know about you, but I don't like sitting in traffic. The other thing is the complexity of our system. It's not getting any simpler. It's getting more and more complex. The federal and state and local governments keep adding layers and layers of new tax laws, not just tax laws, rules and regulations. Just barriers to people actually registering a business. Why? They need the money. Our government loves to spend money, and there's only one way to get it, from the citizens. And they target small businesses because we're in the minority. Okay. There's over, I think, 260 million US citizens. And there's only 30 million businesses. So 90% of the people here aren't businesses. So it's easy for the politicians to target businesses because we're the bad guys, believe it or not. So they make it hard, sometimes impossible for people to go into business. And those that do have a very hard time succeeding. And it's all because how complex the system is. I mentioned the government. Like I said, the government likes to get bigger. They like control. They like the power. Okay. And this is the truth. I'm not anti-government. We need governments to help, keep things organized. But in the United States, we created this system to give people an equal opportunity. And what they've done is the opposite. They've made it hard for people with very little money, very little knowledge, very little experience to break that barrier. Okay. So with all these things combined, creates the perfect opportunity for somebody in your shoes that wants to enter the market and make money with us. Okay, so who we are. I think Elizabeth did a good job of telling you who we are. I am the CEO. I'm the chief instigator. Elizabeth is the CFO, the chief fund officer. And we are not Bedrock. I'm not Bedrock. Bedrock is a team of individuals, a team of superheroes that come with different skill sets that are helping small businesses build a firm foundation. Because what I learned in 40 years is most businesses fail because they don't have that simple foundation. They don't have a simple bookkeeping system. They don't know their numbers. And what we do is essential. And I consider it, Elizabeth, showed me this. It's almost like a spiritual exercise, getting people's books straightened out, because it really changes people's lives. It puts them on a course that they weren't on. Okay.
Foundation, Joe. It is like, okay, so books, records, that stuff, people don't realize how important it is. Okay. But it is super important, because if you don't know your numbers, you can't do what you want to do. All right. And
Yeah.
that's the truth of the matter. And I'm going to remind everybody right now that what I did to begin with is I shared our template for budgeting your business. It is an awesome document that Joe created. It was locked before. Never be afraid to go into the settings of things. Okay. And I had to unlock it. So your access is no longer not denied. It is approved. You will get it. Just click on the link, share the chat with the ... as we're sharing these links. And the numbers are just, they're amazing. And I don't like numbers. I'll tell you, I went to law school, Joe, because the LSATs doesn't have a math section.
Are you serious? That explains a lot.
I'm not joking, but I did get an A on my tax law course, and I will share my notes from the tax law class that I took, and I'll share my corporations outline and things like that in the chat. So keep participating, keep doing things, and let's, Joe, you're going to take the mic back away. I'm just too excited. I got so excited about the numbers. All right. I didn't think I was excited.
Also, people have to understand it. You don't know what you don't know. We love to talk about that. The numbers are important, but we go way beyond the numbers. It's almost like a trick. It's almost like we trick people into, we're teaching them about business by showing them how to do their bookkeeping, if that makes sense. So let's talk about me for a second. I love this topic. I love this picture. I hate, I've learned to love myself, if that makes sense. And that's something that everybody has to do. If you don't like yourself, if you don't love yourself, you need to work on that. Because once I started doing that, believe it or not, that's when things started turning around. People feel that energy. People know if you're lying, if you're being authentic. And I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, from the depths of my soul, everything I tell you is the truth. I'm transparent. From starting the casino in my driveway when I was 10, to driving my ice cream truck and thinking it was simple, everything I do today is really with the intention of helping people become successful. Now, why is that? Because I heard somebody say that the more people you help succeed, the easier it is for you to succeed. So it's sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's, in the nutshell of who I am. What I've done is when I did this, I think I calculated wrong. I need somebody else to calculate this stuff for me, Elizabeth. But I think it's closer to 40 years, but 35, 40, I've done it a long time. And when it came down to it, what I realized is all that time, thousands and thousands of clients, people, business owners, families, it was all about creating their books and records. I didn't know it and they didn't know it, but in reality, that's what I was doing. I was straightening them out. A lot of them, come into our firm, not just my firm, but firms that I work for, and they had problems. They didn't have an accountant, or they had an accountant and they weren't doing the right thing by them. And it was always organize somebody's business. And it always, always came back down to the simple, basic bookkeeping. What I love to do is, like I said, help people. I love to teach because to me, we should all be teaching. We should all be teaching. We all have something to teach. And when you teach, you learn more than the people that you're teaching, believe it or not. And I consider myself a guide. Okay. I don't tell people, oh, I'm a CPA guide. They probably might not hire me. But what I
Nobody
tell
would
people,
know what that is.
yeah, I mean, we know what it is. We know what we do. We guide people, even when we're playing jeopardy and having our workshops, we're guiding people. We're not just crunching numbers.
No, I think we don't so we are crunching numbers, we're looking at the numbers, but the numbers tell a story. They tell somebody's journey, and they really illustrate where people need help and where you can solve different problems. So that's where, even within Bedrock and with what we teach and what we're talking about, and even in the mastermind, and when we play things like jeopardy, and hopefully we'll be able to play jeopardy today, but if we don't get to play jeopardy today, I'm going to say come to a mastermind and play jeopardy, because it gives us an insight on what they need. Like a perfect example of that is a lot of our clients, and somebody said it in the chat, that they wanted to learn more about e-commerce. Something that's huge in e-commerce is, how do people actually take in money, and how do they get paid, and how do they make that easier? Because there's so many choices. And this is where the system is a little complicated, Joe. So keep going. Tell us about
So
the
let's
system.
go, at the head of the system is an agency we call the Internal Revenue Service. It's the largest government agency outside of the military and the post office. As of 2017, they employed 76,000 people. My aunt used to work there. I have some other friends, relatives that actually worked at the IRS. They didn't like it. It's not a great place to work. But here's the thing, and this is part of your opportunity, our opportunity. As a result of COVID, what they were able to do was add a little nugget in there that said, oh, we need more help. Well, the help is going to be 80,000 auditors and collection agents. They call them revenue officers and revenue agents. And what they really are, they're auditors and they collect money. There's so a revenue officer is the one that asks you for your books and records to prove your income and expenses. And the agents don't care about your books and records. All they care about is how much you owe them. And I got to tell you right now, if you study, the IRS, you listen to all their press releases, they're liars. They're just like a marketing firm. They're going to tell you what they want you to hear. To them, they're hiring 80,000 employees that are going to make it easier for you to file and pay your taxes. No, they're going to make it impossible for people to get ahead, because their mission is to collect money. Okay, so let's not make any bones about it. Not only are we dealing with the IRS, there's another agency called the Social Security Administration. Now, that was set up as a way for people to not wind up broke and homeless when they retired. And after World War II, there was no Social Security. They created it as a what do you call it, Elizabeth? As a I forgot what they call it now. A way to help people so that they didn't starve. Okay, and it became a behemoth, a political football that they used for political reasons. And they didn't do that. They didn't crunch the numbers right, because what's happened is people are living longer and they're going to run out of money.
The IRS is all about collecting money. All right. Anybody who works for the IRS, if they get a paycheck from the IRS, their job is to collect money for the government. All right. That's what they want to do. Now, the difference between who works for the IRS and Bedrock business builders, somebody like Joe, somebody like you, somebody like any enrolled agent, is that they are fighting against those IRS workers. Now, you make more friends with honey than you do being, I'm going to fight you to the death. Instead, we want to play by the rules. We want to play by the system. We want to know all the rules and things like that. So I put in the chat and I shared with you that if you are looking up things about the IRS or about what's going on, any of the forms and those things, you want to make sure it has a .gov at the end of it. You want to make sure that it is actually a government publication, and the IRS has tons of them, okay? Because there's scams out there that run rampant, but it is our job to help people keep their money, all right? It is our job to be able to look at their books and their records and their accounting and actually apply the forms and apply the tax advantages, because there are advantages within the system. The tax code was written by people who wanted to keep their money, right? But they knew that they had to collect money in order to keep things going. In fact, when the Revolutionary War happened in the United States, they could not get enough army personnel to line up to be a force for England to say, hey, we lost to you. And do you know why that was? It was because we weren't really paying people. In order for a government to run, they have to pay people. In order to pay people, they have to collect money. It is a circular thing. It is round, all right? And it is forever moving and going. It's like a wheel.
Yes,
Okay.
it is a moving target. So also let me point out, so the whole purpose of these slides, the next couple of slides, is to show you it's not just the IRS. And Elizabeth's right, you know, the IRS to me is an evil empire, to steal Ronald Reagan's term. But the people that work there aren't. And we work with people. We don't work with the IRS. We work with the people that work at the IRS. They are professionals. They have a job to do, and we help them do their job. Okay. And it's as simple as that. But if it was just the IRS, things would be a lot easier. So we also have to deal with, like I said, the Social Security Administration. Homeland Security, that was created after 9/11 to help against terrorism. Well, they can run into your business and say, let me see your records. I'm like, this isn't even a branch of the IRS, and they're coming into businesses now? Yeah. So that's the federal government. Then we got the state and local governments. It starts at the Secretary of State level. See, it doesn't start at the IRS. That's a misnomer. Everybody wants to learn about taxes. Well, we don't just teach you about federal taxes. We're going to teach you about state and local government taxes, how to register your business, because this is where people, like I said, they put up these roadblocks, and the Secretary of State is a big roadblock if you want to do business the right way.
Right. It's not necessarily a roadblock. Maybe every roadblock that you have, Joe, is really a state or a federal entity trying to collect a little bit off the top. They're trying to collect a little bit of money in order for you to do business, because that's what the state departments are doing, right? When they're having you register for their business. And also, this is the dichotomy, the two things where it's an adversarial thing where it's to protect people. It is the Secretary of States, your local governments, what they want to do in the United States is they want to make sure that people who are doing business, people who put themselves out there and are representing themselves are really legitimate.
Legit. Yeah, I understand that, but I don't have an issue with that, Elizabeth. What I have an issue with is that there's so many forms, rules, and regulations, and if somebody misses a deadline, they get hit with a fine. And they don't get hit, oh, you forgot to file your form. They get hit with a bill. And a lot of times you don't have to pay that bill because there's something called reasonable cause, or they've made a mistake. And people are so scared that they just pay it. Now you
Power of
also have,
negotiation.
yeah,
And that's the power of what you know how to do, which is fantastic.
yeah. And so also state and local governments have a vested interest in your payroll and also sales taxes. You know, so there's a lot of different people that are looking to get your money. Okay. Okay. And if you're not armed, if you're not protected, if you don't know what's in store for you, you can get hammered. And part of your job as a bookkeeper, as an accountant, is to help protect them. That's the approach that I've always taken. It's part of our marketing. Okay, if you're just crunching numbers, if you're just going to give people a P&L at the end of the month, you're a commodity. You don't want to be a commodity. So now let's get down to where people make the first mistake. And to me, like I said, this is simple. It's not complicated because I've done it 10,000 times. When you do something 10,000 times and there's only a couple of different options, you sort of get a feel for what the right options are. So I'm going to take you through the different options here. When you start a business, and a lot of people don't even realize that they start a business, I call them accidental entrepreneurs. You are considered what we call in the United States a sole proprietor. There's one owner that owns the business, and they're commingled. The business and the personal assets are combined. It's automatic. You don't have a choice. You have legal, if anything goes wrong with the business, you're personally liable. If you make $10,000, you get hit with a 15% Social Security tax. That's where the Social Security Administration comes in. Now, remember that number, 15%, okay, because that's significant. Also, sole proprietors get audited more than any other type of business entity. Why? Because the IRS knows, well, if you're a sole proprietor, you probably don't know that you shouldn't be a sole proprietor. And sole proprietors don't normally keep good books and records because they don't have somebody like Bedrock to teach them how to keep them. So if the IRS goes in and finds $1,000 of mistakes, right away they get $150 in Social Security tax. Make that 100,000. They're coming home with 15,000 for Social Security plus the income taxes. So this is, what's in store for a sole proprietor. Partnerships are sole proprietors with more than one person. Okay, it's the same thing. Automatic classification. You're personally liable for anything that happens with the business, and you're still subject to that 15% tax on your net profits. LLC or LLP. So this is a limited liability company or a limited liability partnership. Same thing. Guess what? The IRS does not recognize an LLC or an LLP. They don't care that you did that. It's more for legal purposes. There are business purposes to being this type of entity, but they don't apply to single owner small businesses. So what the IRS says is you're going to be what they call a disregarded entity, which means you default to one of these. If you're a single owner, you become a sole proprietor. If you have more than one owner, you're a partnership. Again, you don't get a choice. You can become a corporation if you specifically file with the IRS and say, oh, I don't want to be a sole proprietor. I don't want to be a partnership. I want to be taxed as a corporation, which is the next option. So think about this. You're either a sole proprietor, you're a sole proprietor by default if you're an LLC. So that's only one choice, okay? Count them on your finger. For tax purposes, that's only one choice. The other choice is to be a corporation. Corporation is better to do business under because you get a separate tax ID number right away. You're separate from your personal. You want to separate your business from your personal for a lot of different reasons. Number one, if there's a problem with the business, your personal assets are protected. Okay. Now, the problem with being a corporation for small businesses is there's a tax for a regular corporation. Okay, so that's where they come up with double taxation. The corporation pays a tax, and then the shareholders, if they take money out, it's called a dividend, they pay tax on their personal taxes. So if you take the workshop, we do a deep dive into what all this means if you don't get it. So really, when you look at it, there's two options. You're either a sole proprietor or a corporation. Well, that created a big problem in the economic world in the IRS. It became corporations were owned by wealthy people, and less fortunate people were sole proprietors. Why? It was expensive to become a corporation. You needed a lawyer and an accountant. It was complicated. Who could afford to pay income tax and corporate income tax? So you're paying taxes. It just became, listen, most small businesses, unless they made a lot of money, stayed small. So in 1958, they created what they call the S corporation. They eliminated the corporate level tax. It's what we call a pass-through entity. There's no taxes, okay? There's no Social Security tax on the net profit because it's a corporation, okay? It is a separate legal entity. Now, there's other reasons to be a corporation. Corporations don't get audited nearly as much as sole proprietors. Why? Well, if logically, corporations usually have an accountant. They became a corporation because some accountant told them that you should be a corporation. Like I said, most sole proprietors don't have an accountant. So when you break it down, it's really not that complicated. They can, and I'll tell you all the reasons they tell you shouldn't be a corporation, including the IRS and the Small Business Administration. They want you to stay as a sole proprietor.
It's such a lie, Joe. Oh my goodness. I wrote a book on how to be an LLC because I thought it was the right way. And I got to say, that's the wrong way. That's not the way to do it. I retract my statement. Do not be an LLC because the S Corp, it's so much better. And Joe actually has a book all about S Corp. So I'm going to share that in the chat too. All right. So hopefully I'll let you go, Joe. I'm sorry. I just got all riled.
No, that's okay. Well, the point is, again, I'm going back to, I'm going to make this as simple as possible. And I did write that book. It's called the Itty Bitty Book, all about S Corps. And it's itty bitty because it'll take you about 15 or 20 minutes to go through it. And you will say, oh, now I understand why it's bad to be a sole proprietor. And that's it. If you look at what the government does, they misdirect people. They tell you it's easier, it's simpler to be a sole proprietor. Well, you also don't get a choice. So I'll tell you quickly why that's bad. If you become an Uber driver, if you start mowing lawns in your neighborhood, guess what? You're a sole proprietor. You might not even know it. All that money that you're collecting, you're under the jurisdiction of Homeland Security, Social Security Administration, the IRS, the Secretary of State. People don't know this. They don't know this until they get into trouble, and that's the problem. So in my eyes, the government, the Small Business Administration, they should make this clear. They should say you have a choice, and they don't. Why don't they? Well, that goes into another argument that we don't have time for. But the point is that you can become an S corp. This is the most favorable way to do business. Most people come to us and they say, oh yeah, I already set up my LLC. Well, that's great for legal purposes, and very few small businesses ever get into legal problems. That's another thing they don't realize. They're pushed, they're directed into being an LLC because it's cool, it's new, relatively new. It's about 15 or 20 years old now.
Attorneys
What?
think it makes it easier for people to do their taxes that way.
Well, listen,
A lot of
LLCs
times.
have a place in business, but it's not for a single owner small business. It has to do with if you're in passive activities, if you want to invest in an oil well, if you want to do partnerships with multiple people in different states, because you have a lot more flexibility as an LLC. So
And
when
doesn't it help for real estate? The
real
LLC?
estate is in its own tax category. In fact, in the workshop, we're going to have a whole separate section on real estate. And the person we chose to as their practice set in the workshop had real estate. Not only did she have real estate, she sold real estate, she had rental property, and it's a whole different category. And I'll tell you why it's a whole different category, because usually wealthy people have real estate. What a surprise that they have a different tax system for people with real estate. If you think about the people that make the laws up in the United States are wealthy individuals that most of them own real estate. Okay, so there's no coincidences on how our system is structured right now and how it runs. But the good news is that we have options. Okay, you can, if a client comes to you as an LLC and they don't realize that this is going to be a problem, they're going to get hit with that 15% at the end of the year, and they don't know it. We've had people come to us say, I used to get a refund every year, and all of a sudden I had to pay 20,000. And I'm like, that's because you're an LLC and you never elected to be an S corp. So we turn people into S corps very easily. It's a form 8832, which turns that you're telling the IRS, I don't want to be a disregarded entity. I specifically want to be taxed as a corporation. And then there's a form 2553, which tells them, not only do I want to be a corporation, I want to be taxed as an S corp. Okay, that is your biggest offense against the IRS. It's the secret that the government does not want people to know. How do I know that? Because they never advertise it. They don't promote S corps. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, this is the 8832 form. So all of these forms, you can go to the irs.gov and download them, or even easier, I'll give you another secret that how I do my tax research now. It's called Google. Okay, I'm transparent. Like I said, I don't have big tax books anymore. They're not needed. In fact, I know attorneys that just use, it's just so simple. You just type in form 2553, you can get the form. But like Elizabeth said, be careful, be very, very careful, because companies like LegalZoom that charge money for this stuff, they will come above the IRS in searches.
Yeah. And one of the benefits of being here is that in the check, people.
So I'm sorry, what'd you say, Elizabeth?
I said, one of the benefits of being here is that they're in the chat. As Joe's talking about it right here, I'm putting them.
Are there any questions, Elizabeth? Because I could stop and take some questions. if anybody
So
has.
somebody did ask a question about hold on, I can't.
Okay, let's go to tax returns. Elizabeth's got some poltergeist distracting her. All right, so there's only a couple of tax returns. There's the Form 1040, which is what every individual that has to file a tax return has to file. Now, there's a big thing with the IRS saying a lot of people are going to have to file tax returns that never had to file before. Why? It goes back to what I was saying about the complexity of the system. One of the things is the fact that people like my mother, who is 82 and she has a little hobby, it's an Etsy store. You can go to Sudoku.com, you can buy stuff from her. And if she sells more than $600 worth of merchandise, she's going to get a 1099 at the end of the year, which gets reported to the IRS. Now, if mom didn't have Joey as a CPA son, she would get a surprise. In a couple of years, she'd get a bill from the IRS saying you didn't report the money you made on Sudoku. And she'll be shocked. What do you mean I didn't report the money? It's a hobby. This is why I'm telling you this is a great opportunity. There are people that will be filing returns that didn't know they had to file. And if you know how to do this, you'll be in line to get them as clients. And a lot of these returns are very simple. They just have to be filed. Schedule C. So this is the form that gets attached to Form 1040. It's the business. All you got to do for a sole proprietor is do a P&L. There is no balance sheet. It looks like a simple form, but there's danger in this form. If you get a client that's filing a Schedule C, I can show you how to make them. If you get a prospect that's filing a Schedule C, I will show you how to convert them into a client. Partnership. This is what I said. If there's two people that have a sole proprietorship that decide to do business, this is the form that they file. Now, partnership is a separate legal entity. The partner should have a legal agreement. Most of them don't, just because they don't. Again, sole partnerships are a lot like sole proprietors. They're just two people that have an idea. They usually don't have much money. They don't hire somebody like Elizabeth to do a partnership agreement, and they get into trouble a lot of times. Now, Elizabeth mentioned real estate. That's a whole different category. A lot of real estate is done as partnerships. Okay. And when you get, the real estate is actually filled out on a different schedule on Form 1065. It doesn't go on this front page. And that's a whole different category. So we will cover real estate in the workshop. Then you have Form 1120. This is the corporate form. So people that just form a corporation, if you go down to line 28, that's your taxable income. And then line 31 is your tax. Okay, in between, if you have what they call a net operating loss, let's just focus on line 30, which is your net profit, and then you have a tax. Okay, so if you own a corporation, you need ways to get money out of the corporation. And the only way to get it out is to pay yourself a salary or pay yourself a dividend. Now, if you pay yourself a salary, you incur payroll taxes, and that's a whole nother subject. Part of payroll taxes is the Social Security tax. Now, this is the S Corp return. This is the preferred way to do business for a single owner entity. If you get down to ordinary business income, line 21, there is no tax. There's a special tax if they converted to an S corp from years ago and they owned real estate. It's what they call built-in gains tax. It very, very rarely happens, but it's here, okay? But basically, whatever goes on line 21 flows through to form 1040, okay? And it'll go on another schedule, schedule 1, which, so that's what they mean by flow through. So partnerships are flow through. The income or loss from this form goes to your personal income tax return. And then we got the 1120. And now, so I'm going to go quick on this stuff because a lot of people, I think, already have experience here. You know, like I said, you could put questions in the chat. I do want to play jeopardy, but you can't do your tax return unless you have these. Okay, a balance sheet, income, and an income statement. If you're not familiar with these, we will teach you how to get here. And it starts with your basic bookkeeping, which is you got to account for transactions. It gets down to as little. So, you know, if you get a big company, it could be, if you look at the whole picture, you could say, oh my God, this is so complicated. Well, we don't look at the whole picture. We look at one transaction. We break it down by what accounts do they have? How are they doing business? Then you break it down by month. Then you break it down by week. And when you break the most complicated things down to a single lowest common denominator, it becomes simple. So a business with 10,000 transactions are really one transaction done 10,000 times. If you know how to account for one transaction, I could show you how to do a balance sheet and an income and expense statement. These are the programs that we use. Primarily, we use this program called Wave. People that have registered already, I recommend that you get your own Wave account, start playing with it, link your account. You could link your credit cards. It's a very, very simple program that will produce your profit and loss statement and your balance sheet. That's all you need to do a tax return. Now, QuickBooks Online, we use QuickBooks Online because it gives us a level of detail that you don't get with Wave. You can do sub-accounts, you can do analytics, you can't do that with Wave, but 98% of the small businesses don't need that stuff. They don't need it. And QuickBooks Desktop we use for people that come to us that we're using QuickBooks Desktop. We do not use QuickBooks Desktop because it's like killing a fly with a sledgehammer. First of all, Intuit is all they're trying to do is sell you stuff. You get constant pop-ups. It's not a good bookkeeping program. Wave is what QuickBooks was when it first started. So this is the bulk. I know some people use Xero. That's a good program, but again, that's at a higher level of accounting. Anything beyond Wave is usually not our ideal client. We're not targeting those kinds of clients. That doesn't mean we can't show you how to get them as a freelancer. But if you want to build the kind of business that we have, we're targeting people that don't normally hire accountants. Payroll is a whole nother category. You could actually create a business where you're just doing payroll. And I will show you during our program how to do that, because there's software, you know, you can use QuickBooks Online as a payroll module. There's companies that will do the payroll for you. The businesses, all they need is somebody to know what has to be filed, make sure that they're in compliance. They don't have time to do their own payroll. If they're doing their own payroll, they're messing it up. Because again, payroll is not simple, and it's not just the federal government, it's the state and local governments. You know, people are afraid of the IRS, they're afraid of the wrong people. The state departments of labor are more vicious than they collect the unemployment insurance. They need the money. The IRS can print money. The states can't. So this is what's involved with payroll. This whole independent contractor versus employee. And that goes back to the Social Security. If you're an employee, you get a W-2. You already have your Social Security tax taken out. 1099s don't. The IRS doesn't like independent contractors, okay? Because a lot of them forget to report their income. And that's all another subject, which we'll cover in the program. When you have payroll, you got to register. You have to get insurance. You have to have a way to pay your employees. You have to have a way to document. You have to have a way to send the taxes in. And last but not least, you got to file your forms. There's a lot of ways to make mistakes here. And when people have a propensity to make mistakes, there's an opportunity there's a problem there. And every time there's a problem, if you have a solution, you can make money with that. Now, our system, okay, we'll go through this quickly. We don't have a system without our team. Okay, you know, Elizabeth, Linda built our software. We have internal software. You probably all know Karine. She's the glue that holds everything together. We have a couple of accounting specialists. Now she's our director of accounting. Janine is the one responsible for all the pretty pictures that you see. She turned us all into superheroes. Come on, where is this going? So this is our system. Marketing. We're always doing marketing, because if we're not doing marketing, we're not getting clients. And then Karine has nobody to onboard. We have a system for onboarding the clients. We have a responsibility to protect their data. Okay, we have people's names, addresses, social security numbers. We know where they live. We know where they work. You know, there's people out there that are trying to hack into our system and get that info. So part of our marketing is making our clients secure, knowing that we got their backs. A big part of our system is getting the information from people. That's a job in itself. Okay, it's not that easy. You know, the last thing business owners want to do is, you know, stop, you know, take a break from their business and get their accountants, their bank and credit card statements. I have to do that. It's not fun. You know, it's not a fun thing, but it's like going to the dentist. It's like, I don't want to go to the dentist, but if I don't, eventually I'm going to get cavities. And that's why people like Elizabeth are invaluable. People like Karine and Luz, because somehow they make it fun. The clients, I think they must be sending them brownies or something, because they're all sending their stuff. We review everything. Okay, all the data that comes in, you know, we get a lot of data. It's not only imported and reconciled and categorized, we review it. Then we review it again. Then I have to, because my name is going on the tax return, I have to accept it. Once it's accepted, it's filed. Okay, that's the process that we have gotten down to a science. That is why people call us with impossible tasks with, listen, I need to file my client's returns in like a week, and they haven't filed for 4 years, and they have 10 bank accounts and 20 credit cards. And I say, no problem, we got it. And we do it. Not everybody can do that. We have BMS, we call it our Bedrock management system. That's something that is central in our system. Most people use, you know, we were way beyond the canned programs. What were we using, Elizabeth? I have nightmares about that program.
Yeah, we were using Asana, Joe.
It's a great program, but it was like, you know, we had too many things going on. So we were able to create a program. Luckily, Linda has been a friend, a client of mine for a long time, and she is available to anybody that wants to have a similar system. Okay, we can probably duplicate what we already have. She's very reasonable. And that's another thing that we bring to the table. Team meetings, one-on-one meetings is essential to, when it comes down to it, your marketing is really about relationships, your relationship to your clients, to your team members, to your vendors. That's the most important thing that you have. You could have all the knowledge in the world. It doesn't matter unless you have those relationships. This is what we were talking about, that we became superheroes. Okay, we're growing. We have some more team members. We're going to all become smaller because you can only fit so many team members in a picture. So let's talk about the opportunity again, the perfect storm. There's millions of business owners. If you didn't see some of the things, some of the reasons why there's an opportunity, it's hard. Listen, business is hard. Life is hard. Business makes it even tougher. These people, these business owners, the one thing on their mind is making money. Making money to them is getting clients. Okay, that's where the problem comes in. They're I hate to say this, usually narrow-minded, and I understand that they have to be, because you got to put food on the table, but they're not paying attention to an essential part of their business. That's where we come in. When they don't pay attention, they start getting notices. You want to market yourself as the solution. You put yourself out there, like Marianne teaches you, you be prepared. And when somebody has a problem, they'll say, oh, I remember Marianne talking about this. I remember seeing this issue about 1099s. And this is our solution. You know, my vision, our team mission is to create an army of people, of individuals that can help protect the small business owner. It's a calling. It's a mission that I've had my whole life. I went from, doing work for rich American people that honestly I grew to not like too much. Okay, people with big construction companies, trucking companies, and I felt like I wasn't really making a difference. Okay, and then I found these 28 million sole proprietors, and I said, these people need help, and I can't do it myself. Okay, this is how we're going to do it. This is one of the steps. Okay, I didn't think of this. I didn't wake up and say, let me find somebody with a Facebook group with all these great Filipino people that I could teach. It all happened in an order. I met Marianne. She had the Facebook group. And I said, I've been teaching this stuff, and it would be great if I could teach your people. And, we hit a nerve. How many people do we have, Elizabeth? 70 in this? We had over like
we have 100, and we have more people trying to get in. And I have to admit, right now I'm working with Zoom to make it so more people can get in. Because if this is a webinar, we'd be able to have 500 easy. But to have a large meeting over 100, you've got to upgrade. Don't you know, Bedrock Business Builders is always upgrading.
Maybe you can make it up to 300 to 500 bucks for accounting people only.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm flattered. And this is what we're going to cover and we're going to cover this and more. I guarantee you that it's not just going to be me. It's going to be me, Elizabeth, Corrine, Luz. I'm going to take you. We're going to pull the curtain back. I'm going to show you exactly what we do, how we did it, why we did it. And actually, after the 13 weeks, I plan on, because I've done this so many times, we're going to come up with improvements to our system, Elizabeth. I don't know if you realize that, but that's because we're going to dissect everything we do. And no matter how much time and effort you put into a system, there's always room for improvement. There's new technology, there's new ideas, but this is what we're going to cover. All the tax return and legal structures that you need to get your clients. Let me explain something to you. Your clients, your prospects don't know anything. And even if you don't know anything, they don't know that you don't know anything. As far as they know, you're a genius because you know a little bit about what we just went through. What we just went through is 99% more than most business owners know. Okay, so you've already armed yourself. Elizabeth, everybody's going to have access to the recording, right?
Everyone will have access to the recording. Okay. I will not hold back on that. People will be able to get the recording. They'll be able to see the chat and the recording. This is gonna live on forever. It'll be on our YouTube channel. In fact, the one that we did previously, and we covered other things in the previous workshop, that's also on YouTube. I'll put that on the chat. I hope you guys watch it. I hope you're checking it out. But I have to tell you that the longer you wait for things like this certification program, the more they kind of cost. So the deal that was in that previous workshop is no longer in this for this workshop because we're so close. We're starting the course. In fact, we even have people who have signed up for the course already. They are in our classroom. They are getting materials. They are starting to see what we're doing. They are engaging. They got weeks of emails that were designed by Joe to help us. So like I gave links to forms today, right? But in that course, it has all those links and all those forms, and it has other things that Joe has paid thousands of dollars for that he just has in his vault of information. And I'm talking about templates and business plans and insights from other coaches and people like Larry Broughton. Joe works with Larry Broughton. Larry Broughton is this hotel owner in California. He's big time, right? Do you know why I work with Joe DeTerra? Joe DeTerra actually gives me access to tons of people that I wouldn't have had access to otherwise. And I am beyond thankful for that. Joe sometimes will say how he didn't hire me. I like stalked him and hunted him down and I hired myself. I think that's true. And it's because I know the value that he brings to the table. And I hope that everybody takes advantage of it. That's why I want this message to ripple over and over and over again, because it's important for us as bookkeepers, accountants, me with a law background, Joe as a CPA, to stand in solidarity within this industry. Okay, we have to have a certain standard. We cannot allow people to take advantage of us. And that is what you can do. You are a huge force behind what you are doing and what we are creating. Okay, I'm not joking about that. I know it. I see it. I see it in the meeting as there's 100 people and I am bullying Zoom right now to do what I want them to do. Okay, you are a force to be reckoned with. Mom, so as my daughter comes in and asks questions, I'm going to say, do you have any questions? Because now is the time to ask them of Joe. I'm going to take down my spotlight and Joe's spotlight. We're going to make it so it's a gallery view. Mom. He'll answer some questions. I'm going to load up a jeopardy board. We're going to play and answer some questions and talk about finance and bookkeeping and all that stuff. And we're going to have a little fun. Okay. Mom. But in the meantime, have questions because my daughter does. I have to check on her.
Okay, so I'm going through the chat here and I don't really see any questions, so that's amazing. But if you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Marianne, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, as usual, I'm always amazed with accounting people. They're all always active. You know, every time we have a webinar, they're all willing to learn. You know, the hunger to have knowledge and be a part of the, even me still have a goosebump because this is the first time ever that we will have a university that teaching tax. I didn't see anybody who did that for any group. Normally it's for other taxes, but for US taxes particularly, which is a huge market. If you only see, I think 31 million small business enterprises in US alone. How about UK and other industries? So again, you have to be more equipped to grow your business. This is our vision and goal, to be financially and time freedom. So again, I really campaign this courses not only for yourself but for your family, preparing for your future. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. So somebody gave me a direct message about what is an LLC and an LLP. Quickly, they were created about 20 years ago for wealthy investors that wanted to get that pass-through tax benefits. It has to do with tax shelters, depreciation. It was a pretty, not everybody needs that stuff. People that are just starting out in business don't need it. It evolved into something else, but it wasn't meant for single owner business entities. People got confused. Okay, all these people are using, people like Larry Bratton that's running a $250 million empire. He's got different partnerships, different it gets you have a lot of flexibility as far as how you want to do business with the legal protection. Okay, and that's in a nutshell what it is. Elizabeth, did I miss anything there? Okay.
You did not miss anything about that, Joe. And I will have to say that a lot of business owners who think they know everything about business do not know everything about business. They particularly don't know everything about accounting and bookkeeping and about those numbers or tax preparation, because it's not necessarily something that they like to do. Everybody has a different type of personality, right? We all have different strengths and we play into those strengths. I find more often than not, people who are good bookkeepers and accountants, they like those numbers. They like the meticulous details. They are like these personality tests. They'll say you're a D or an I or a C or an S. Well, don't you know, a lot of times you are a C, you are an S. Joe is particular because he's an I, right? And he's also a D. He can he is dynamic, because over time, as you age, don't you know, even if you are comfortable as kind of just looking at all the notes and being comfortable with the details and even taking orders from people, over time, you'll grow and you'll say, hey, I've got to stand up for myself. I've got to go outside of my comfort zone. All right. And I can do that in the moment. And the more confident you are in what you are doing and how you are doing it, the more you learn about your craft. Even if you are a CES or an I or a D, you can shift. You can make it.
I don't know what those, I know what they're about, but I don't know if people know, but
they don't know. See, this is where we've got so much information in Bedrock, and this is where the course helps really, because, and connecting with us over and over again also helps, because we go through that. But don't let me get on a tangent about all that.
Yeah, so Marianne asked us to put the link to register. And so there's a couple of questions here. If you want to play jeopardy, that I'm up for. If we still have 100 people here, we can have some fun. Somebody put in the chat, she's a 68-year-old woman. Congratulations. You're a young woman. And if you're asking me if this is worth it for you to start, absolutely. I don't care if you're 80. You could start this. Somebody asked if real estate people pay the lowest taxes. Real estate is one of the best businesses long-term because of the tax structure, and I will cover that in the course. And then somebody put something in here about a client that has not filed tax returns. We do a lot of people that forgot to file their returns. Some of them forget to file it for 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know why they forget, but they do. And we get them up to date. We have a number of clients right now we're working on. A lot of times what happens is they don't file because they owed money. And then it just becomes like a snowball. They didn't file 1 year, then the next year they're like, well, it didn't bother anyone last year, and then it gets worse and worse. The sad thing is a lot of times they don't owe any money. Okay. We see that all the time, right, Elizabeth? They think they owe money. In fact, we did a whole workshop on that. You
In
think
fact,
you
a
owe
lot of
money
times
if you do a refund.
the IRS owes them money. All right, that's what kills me, because not only does the IRS tax code give you the ability to pay them, right? That's what they want you to do. They want you to pay them, but they also have tax credits. They have tax deductions. And when you know your books and your records, you can actually apply for the tax credits and you can take the proper deductions. And you can even take depreciation. Depreciation is a whole nother thing in business. And we don't have the time to cover all that different stuff today, I got to admit, but that's where we do in the course.
It should-
Karine did put the link in the chat. Okay,
Oh,
you
okay.
guys. All right, it's in there. I'll put it again because I see that we do have a couple other questions. And if we want to play Jeopardy, what we can do is we can play Jeopardy and we can keep answering these questions as we play. Because I don't want to necessarily go over too late, Joe, unless you do. You know,
Yeah, I'll go for as long as people want. But also, she asked about the penalties, and a lot of times, I have a whole thing about penalties. A lot of times, even if people paid penalties, we can get the money back. Or better yet, if they get a letter saying they owe a penalties, a lot of times I can get that removed. And I actually have a template for that, right, Elizabeth? Do you have access to that?
Yes, you do, Joe, and I can give everybody.
Me, I have a question, sorry. I think I already asked this one before, Joe, regarding what's the difference about enrolled agent or tax preparer?
Oh, it's so a couple of our team members are going to become enrolled agents once we found out that you don't have to be a US citizen. Something's going crazy with my computer here, so I don't know. So an enrolled agent has a special designation. They have to take a test with the IRS. It's not easy. I have a lot of respect for enrolled agents because they just study taxes. See, people assume that CPAs know taxes, and a lot of CPAs don't know taxes. CPAs mean that you can certify financial reports. Okay, being a CPA also gives you leverage with the IRS as far as being able to represent clients, but so do enrolled agents. So that's something that we're going to talk about in our program. That's a great question, because I don't see why you or anybody else that wants to can't start studying to be an enrolled agent.
Hello. Hi, I have a question.
Okay.
Hi, this is Anne. Yeah, I am under the impression that there are like different taxation rules for different states in the US. And I mean, if you become an enrolled agent or a CPA, do you get to know all the taxation rules in those different states, or you will have to like do further studies to familiarize yourself with that?
That's a good question. And again, that's something I'm gonna, and that's something I realized. I said, these people that teach taxation, they don't cover the 50 states because 50 states all have their own rules and regulations. They start with the federal regulations, but then they got their own, agendas. They got a different set of fees, but the enrolled agent test does not include any states. You got to learn each state. Usually people focus on the state that they live in because that's where their clients are. But this whole remote, we have clients all over the country, not only over the country and all over the world now. So you got to make sure when you get a client that, and we spend time, right, Elizabeth? Because of not only the state, it's the local governments. You can go down to the county level. And if you don't know what that is, you just look at the map of the United States and drill down.
One of the things that you'll become really good at over time is you saw how I was able to put up all of those links real quick, and I was able to do it from the government site. State governments in the United States do the same thing as the federal government. What that is known as is it is public information. everyone in the United States, just like when we started, I showed like taxpayers have a Bill of Rights. We also have the right to what's considered public information. All of our laws, all of our codes, all of our things that we have to comply with, they are all available online. So as we're going through this, as you're going through the client mock cases, you're going to be told to go to the state governments. You're going to be told to look at their individual forms. And when you're working with a client, you do want to think about what states are they in? Because the more clients you work with who are in different states, the more states you're gonna have to know. And when people in e-commerce make different sales in different states, they have to adhere or comply with those other states with their sales tax. So also in the beginning of this stuff, I shared how the IRS gives you a sales tax calculator because they want you to know how to do it. Right? So you become that resource for individuals, and really you become the resource that tells your client, hey, you're going to throw up your arms and you're going to say, you have to comply with the state government and the local government. And that gives you that leg up because that shows them, wow, you know what you're talking about. Just like when
Yeah.
they first hire you and they are going to pay you, make sure that they fill out the Ben 8 form. I shared that in the chat too. Somebody asked a question about that, and it makes it so then the company can deduct your income as a business expense, and it's not considered
Well,
income.
Not
Right?
not only that, Elizabeth, so from the compliance, and if you're a US business and you're paying somebody in a foreign country, the IRS could come in and say, do you have the W-8 BEN? And if you don't, they will charge you 30% of what you paid them. So that form, believe it or not, doesn't go to anybody. It stays in your business owner's file just in case. And believe me, if there's a form, the IRS will be looking for it. It's only a matter of time. So, and I could tell you from a marketing standpoint, if you want to land those clients, that sort of information will set you apart. Because you could say, and you find a way to include it. You could say, listen, I already have my W-8 BEN filled out for you. And they'll say, what is that? And right away, they'll think you're a genius. Another thing is a lot of people have e-commerce clients. Well, e-commerce in the United States is extremely complicated because of what Elizabeth brought up, the sales tax. We're going to cover a lot of sales tax issues because people get confused about the rules. When you're selling merchandise online, you could sell anywhere, and the rules are different in every state. What people don't realize, the state that you live in rules over everything. So if you can educate them and say, listen, if you live in California, you got to register as a sales tax vendor in California. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people, we have clients, remember Janice, Elizabeth? She registered in like 3 or 4 different states when she didn't have to. That became a problem because she forgot she was registered, and she starts getting letters from them, not just letters, bills. You owe us $50 for not filing your corporate return, your sales tax return. Okay, so these things, these are complications that a little bit of information that you could feed your prospect can set you apart. And Marianne could attest to that if she's there. But you want to set yourself apart from all the other people. And from my standpoint, you just give them information. You don't have to build yourself up like you're superhuman, you're the best bookkeeper. No, you go there saying, listen, I could help you, and I have a few tips for you, whether you hire me or not. Get your W-8 and learn a little bit about the sales tax, because again, the sales taxes are worse than the IRS. It's more complicated, and people just, until they have a problem, they don't know about it. And like I said, they don't know what they don't know.
That's all about being of service to other people and building that know, like, and trust factor too. to make it so a lot of times when you're meeting with people, it might not necessarily be the first time or the second time. It might be that 10th time where you're making the connection and then it clicks and then they make a hire. You know what I mean? So don't ever push yourself to like, it has to be right now. It has to be this way. It has to be that way. Be flexible with it. And then also in your accounting and bookkeeping and stuff, be a little flexible about it. Like it doesn't have to always be exactly as you think it's gonna be. I think it's important to be able to recognize that things can change. And even all of the forms that I just shared with you today, guess what? Those are forms for 2021. Do you know what happens in 2022? They change. All right.
Oh, they'll come out with new form.
New forms, new links, new things. Now, there's some fundamentals that are always the same, or we hope that they're always the same unless somebody comes in and wrecks a tax law, right? But they do wind up changing. That's where it's important. And different clients will have different systems all the time. You have to have a system. You train your clients to follow your system because you know what you're talking about.
They're looking for guidance. Okay. They want somebody that can straighten them out. I'm telling you that, and I think Marianne and I are going to do a workshop together because I come from the perspective of, first of all, I'm an entrepreneur. I've had to hire people to help me. I'm also a tax preparer. Okay. Marianne, I love her perspective because what she's doing is she's training you on how to present yourself. Okay. I could tell you what questions you should be asking. Okay. Because I've been in that position, but I could tell you as somebody that's hiring somebody, I have a problem. I'm looking for somebody that could help me. I'm not looking for somebody that knows the tax code. I could teach them the tax code. I could teach them how to do a bank rec. I could teach them the sales tax rules. Okay. I want somebody that's organized, that has attention to detail, that wants to learn. You know, that's the kind of people we hire. So, you know, do we have time to play jeopardy, Elizabeth?
We do have time to,
sample
yeah.
How we have fun.
I know we do have time to play jeopardy. And you are right. You do not have to be a US citizen to be an enrolled agent. That's part of the reason why within the certification course, we're going to encourage you to become an enrolled agent, to work towards that, because it's beneficial. It's beneficial to us. It's beneficial to you. And it's absolutely possible with the knowledge that you'll be learning. So this is jeopardy. And I will tell you that jeopardy is made on Canva and it changes and I can edit it in live time. Jeopardy is not Jeopardy. I don't know if you've heard of Jeopardy. It's very popular in the United States. I'm not Alex Trebek. I don't have the right answers. You have the right answers. And every Friday we play this. I find that it helps to talk about things within your business. It helps to talk about finance and we have fun while we do it. So it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now there's categories at the top. We've got organize, protect, credit, not funny, true or false. I didn't want to go into all those crazy details about all those forms. You want to read about those forms, by all means, go and read about those forms. Instead, we're going to talk about a couple of things that are important within this industry, like organizing things and protecting information and talking about credit, because at the end of the day, Americans, a lot of us, we live on credit. It's not a good thing. All right. You'll see that they have 5 credit cards, 10 credit cards. They've got lots of different bank accounts. They commingle everything. And why do they have that? And how do you make it better for them? Okay. So I'm going to say, if you want to unmute yourself, unmute yourself. You have the right answers. I don't have the right answers. You're going to call out, somebody call out a category and a number. The numbers don't matter. I'm not going to keep track of our score. If you give the right answer, you have the power to ask a burning business question, perhaps. All right. But we're going to limit those, I think, because we already just asked a lot of questions. And let's go through the board. Marianne, you are the hostess of the mostest. All right. So where are we going on the board?
Organize.
100, 200, or 300?
100 organized.
Yes, there we go. It's all about keeping track of where we are on the board. How do you like to keep your business books and records organized? You can type it in the chat if you want. If you don't want to talk, and the person who called it out, you don't necessarily have to answer, Marianne. You can phone in a friend. You can make sure someone else answers.
Can I?
Yeah, go
Random,
ahead.
can I call? Hold on. Miss Eileen Cabanilla. Sorry, Eileen. Who wants to answer, guys?
Anybody?
Don't be shy.
We've got, do you withhold independent contractors, offshore based contractors? How do you handle that? How do you declare that in your income tax returns? Joe, Patrick's got a very complicated question. I think you're best answering that. And I'll tell you that, how do you keep your books and records organized? How do you keep your stuff organized? Okay, now you can have a specific file system. Joe has a specific file system. I'm going to make it so you can see the way that the file system is so we can find things. And in a lot of ways, we keep things in Google, we keep things on iClouds, we keep things in Dropbox. But what happens when you have different files everywhere and they're all untitled? Oh my goodness, they are lost in the sauce. Okay, so when you are keeping your books and records organized, you want to say the name of your client, you want to say the product, you want to say the date and the amount. All right, if you have a client who has tons of files and things like that, if you start naming those things and paying particular attention to the detail, it then becomes easier to find it and to recall it. And yes, for Bedrock Business Builders, we use a secure vault to make it so when we're collecting our information from our clients and they're sending us things back and forth, it is not going through just the World Wide Web. It's encrypted, right? You have a duty as someone who's working with their financials to do things like that, but then within it, you want to keep it organized.
So this is a good, another good topic for if you're being interviewed, because you can ask another thing as somebody that hires people. I want people that are going to ask me questions. So one thing that you should ask is, how do you keep your records? And I'll tell you right now, they're all going to look at you like, do you know how to keep records? Because if you know how to organize records right away, you got a positive impact. Like I said, if they're looking for a bookkeeper, a tax expert, they want somebody that's organized, not only organized, but you're going to organize them. That's what these people are looking for.
Mm-hmm. All right, so where are we going on the board? And don't be afraid to shout out answers, okay? I don't think there's many wrong answers within jeopardy, to be honest, because it's open-ended questions. I want to know, I want to hear from you.
Me, I can answer. We have a checklist of what to do weekly, and I think normally in accounting firm they have a weekly recon. So you have a checklist just to make you organize.
Marvelous. Marianne's got a checklist. She's organizing her stuff. Bethesda, where are we going on the board?
Hi.
Hello, where are we going on the board?
Yeah, I want to answer the question. So
Okay.
based on my experience in my work, so we have a different projects, and usually I receive invoices. So by saving the invoices, I save it by according to their projects in OneDrive by folder, and then the format of the file name should be first the year, the name of the client or the supplier, and then the invoice number. That's how we save the file name so we can find it easily. So I think one of the answer on how to organize the files.
You're hired. You're hired.
Yes.
It's
But
my
still,
batchmate.
Hi, but still I want to learn more, and I think I'm not yet ready to be a freelancer, but still I want to thank Marianne for convincing me joining this seminar, and it's a good opportunity.
Thank you.
Marvelous, marvelous. Folders are the key. Where are we going on the board? You just gave me a fantastic answer. Let's move on to a different question. Where are we going? Help me out. No. All right, I'm gonna pick it. Protect for 200. What is malware? How do you protect against it? If you're working within the financial industry, there are things that you could click on your computer that will want to track what you are typing on the keys of your computer. Okay. There is a way for you to stop that from happening. And it's highly recommended for people in the financial industry. Now, does anybody, if anybody knows this answer, you can raise your hand, you can intercede and tell me something that they use.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do we need the protection on our server?
That's a good, so on our server, we should have like on those computers.
Okay, we got to talk. So Linda's our compliance or whatever.
Yeah, Linda will
Protection,
Linda will know that. Yeah, but this is where you do want an antivirus on your computer, but you also, there's a program, it's called Malwarebytes. There's a free version of it. You can download it and have it run for 14 days. It'll pick up on those types of things. It'll take it away from your computer and it'll make it so you're protecting yourself. I personally run it once a month on my computer. If I get any like weird, strange pop-ups, I go in and I run that just to be sure, because I don't want my passwords and things like that being ciphered. And it is something, and this is where it helps you in this industry to protect against that. One of the biggest insurance companies in New York Life was a company, and they had internal issues with this. Even when you use encrypted software or servers, it can be a problem. There's companies all throughout the world and even banks that will suffer from this type of stuff. Okay, so being here gives you the insight to know how to protect against it.
Let's
True or
do
false? Go ahead, Joe. Where are we
credit
going?
for 100.
Okay. When you're an affiliate, what do you have to tell someone when you refer a product?
I think I can answer, Joe, how I do the affiliation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, actually for affiliates, if you have clients, especially USA clients, I normally, of course, vouch Bedrock, and also Joe's know about that. And then the clients really appreciate the initiative that you're taking, concern about your business, because actually that time we're having, he's into rush into the books, and then he said, "What's your reason for the rush?" He said, "I don't have any CPA." So that's it. So you have to create a good relationship with your clients, and then yeah, you can affiliates with Joe. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the plug, Marianne. I think, are you saying you got to tell them you're an affiliate though, right, Elizabeth?
Yes.
Yep. When you are an affiliate of different things, you have to say, I'm an affiliate. An example, I shared Joe's book before from Amazon. Well, don't you know that that was an affiliate link? All right, everybody. I'm not gonna deny that. If you clicked on it and you bought something from Amazon, I might get a couple cents from it. And Patrick, I love the
There you
music.
go.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Quick, it's just my dog.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you have an affiliate program?
We do have an affiliate program. Bedrock Business Builders has an affiliate program. It makes it so if you have clients that need our services, which are bookkeeping, accounting, our CFO package, we incorporate businesses, we solve tax problems. Joe will even amend previous returns. You can actually earn a percentage off of what we charge them. And I will give that, actually, Kareen, you're in the room. Kareen, can you please share that link with everybody? Because if you'd like to become an affiliate, that is something that you can do, and you can do it for free. All right, and it is a beneficial thing for sure. We have some of our affiliates that make bank.
We love affiliates.
Yeah. So let me go back to the jeopardy board. Here we go. True or false? 200. Does the New York Stock Exchange never closes? We got a chat.
We got honey.
False.
False.
That
Correct.
is correct. Dun, 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 dun. They do close. Okay. They have days off. They have holidays. They're not open all the time. The bell rings at the beginning of the day. The bell rings at the end of the day. All right. And there are different tax laws for people who engage in the stock market. Okay. There's different forms for that. It's a whole different industry. A lot of people who do things like day trading. All right, if they are not careful, if they are not filing specific forms and doing their taxes a specific way, they will pay a lot in taxes. Right, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep going. So I think I'm funny, but really I'm not that funny. And I'm going to.
You prove that every week.
But what did the comedian say when he ate a clownfish?
That's a little funny.
This tastes a little funny. Mm-hmm.
As long as you're
hello,
Elizabeth, that's all that counts.
Hello.
or they can even say, "I just ate Nemo."
Little Nemo.
Okay, we got some laughs here, Elizabeth, so maybe you are funny.
Woohoo. Then let's go back to something serious, like credit for 300. What is one way you can help boost someone else's credit? Now, people in the United States have to be careful, because if they do this, it could also diminish their credit if someone takes advantage of it. Okay. Oh, we have people in the chat. I'm trying to see. I'm moving a lot of things around.
Yeah, they were responding to your.
My jokes. I know that seems to be the best category.
I know this. You can add somebody as an additional card holder, right?
That is correct. That is a way to help boost their credit. And when you do that, though, you've got to actually make sure that you're paying the credit card. Okay. If you add them to the credit card, make sure you're paying the credit card, and make sure that they're not going to take advantage of it. People
So
in the
Josie said this is true too by availing credit restoration programs. So, you know, a lot of times I ask people what their credit is and they don't even know.
So creditkarma.com is a free resource to get your credit score. And you have a different credit score from your business and from your personal, and credit restoration does boost someone's credit.
And I think that, you know, if you want to be an advisor, you could, you know, let them know that this is credit. I use Credit Karma. You know, they try to sell me a lot of stuff, but I look at my credit score. That's important when you're in business.
Because you're entitled to that. It's public information. And so in the United States, when you try and rent an apartment or a building, do you know what they do? They check your credit before you're able to
for a job. A lot of places want to check your credit.
So let's go to protect for 300. What do we got there? What is a way to send encrypted information to someone? Now, this is important for you guys. How are you protecting people's information when you're sending it back and forth? What services are you using? Bedrock Business Builders to do that, where it's Secure File Pro. I'll just out ourselves.
Oh, LastPass, yeah, we use that also.
We also like LastPass. That's
And don't forget your password for LastPass because you'll never get. I did that once. So yeah, that's not fun.
A waterproof on it. Ooh, that's interesting. A VPN. That's Patrick's answer. Okay. Now, is there some chat services that make it so you can exchange encrypted information? One of them that I know is Signal.
Oh,
But the
yeah.
other, but the other person has to be on Signal. Another one was at one point WhatsApp, except I'll tell you right now that Facebook owns WhatsApp, so I don't know how encrypted that really is. I don't necessarily trust that.
So if you want to talk to your client about taxes, you can use Signal. Okay, interesting.
And then you can password lock PDFs and Excel spreadsheets and things like that. There's ways to do that.
Yeah, I don't like that. Everybody forgets what the password is.
That's true. Slack is not encrypted. I think somebody just put Slack in the chat. Slack is a yeah, Slack is a good way for teams to communicate, but not to necessarily send confidential information to each other.
What about Google Docs and Dropbox? How secure are those?
So Google Docs and Dropbox, again, not necessarily the most secure thing going. But there's lots of businesses who keep lots of things in there. And this is where Google does try its best to try and protect that information. But Google accounts, I have a Gmail account, they get hacked.
Listen, nothing, unfortunately, nothing is safe out there. If they could hack into businesses like Home Depot and Amazon, I mean, think about that. They hacked into Amazon. So, you know, what we do, we have a disaster recovery. We actually have somebody assigned to our disaster recovery if that ever happens. I mean, if somebody hacked into our server, we're not going to go out of business because we have backups of everything.
Yeah, the Signal app is safe if you want to call your clients. Your client just has to have the Signal app for them to have it. It is a safe way to call clients. It's a safe way to send information. It's a safe way to call your clients. And then one of the ways, so things happen to people's computers, your hard drives, you can have an external hard drive and keep a backup of your system on an external hard drive. That's for your own internal security and to have backups of things, which is helpful. Let's see, true or false? You have to keep all of your records for 10 years. Speaking of records, keeping them, do we have to keep them for 10 years?
That's not true or false.
All right, Joe, so give me an explanation.
The answer is it depends. And there's actually a publication on that. If you're talking about the IRS, what they recommend is 7 years, but there's no problem with saving 10 years. Okay. For payroll, so payroll, you basically have to keep it forever, just in case there's some kind of lawsuit with an employee, right, Elizabeth? I mean, you can go back a long time. So with digital records now, and I forget who the lady was that responded before with the name convention, with the, you know, it costs almost nothing to save documents now. So what we recommend is that you save everything digitally to a, you know, in a way that you could find it. I got a pretty funny story I'm going to share in the program. But save them forever. If it's digital, just save them. I mean, unless it's taking up too much of your Google Drive, just save them. 10 years is good.
See, somebody's saying that in the US, 7 years, question mark. Here in the Philippines, it's 5 years retention. And then I'm going to share a link that will, from the IRS, that will tell you what kind of records you should keep. So that was a tricky question. You're right, Joe.
But it's a good one because a lot of people ask this. These are the kinds of questions people ask.
Let's do a joke. Too serious around here. Is there a word that contains all of the vowels, including Y? This is a tricky one. Oh, I remember what it is.
Shoot, you asked this before.
It's all about retention, Joe. Do you need to keep physical records of documents like invoices and receipts for tax purposes, or is digital enough? Ooh, Joe answered, digital will suffice. And the answer to what word contains all of the vowels, including Y, is unquestionably. Dun, dun, dun. I know. All right. I know, Marianne. That one's not that funny.
That wasn't too funny.
Yeah, not funny at all. But it's good to ask questions. It's good to think outside of the box, play with words. In fact, let's
good. Wait, we might have another one.
That's good. I said
fictitiously. AEI. What? If that's a word, Elizabeth, then she wins.
All right. I'm gonna say for creativity, Davina, make sure I get your email address, and I'm gonna give you a free copy of Joe's.
It is a word.
It is marvelous. Okay. So here we go. Davina, make sure you give me your email address, and I'm going to give you a free copy of Joe's S Corp book.
Oh, look at this. What does it mean? Joe's joking or jesting, often inappropriate. Oh my God.
Marvelous.
Very good.
All right. Organized. How should someone make a business purchase? Now, this is important for your clients. Lots of them are going to do the wrong thing. You can tell them how to do this.
I could tell you, and I know that because this causes problems for us.
It does all the time. This is where you're training your clients. How should they be making these business purchases? How should you be making business purchases? You're starting a business. I'm going to say we do it wrong a lot of times. All right, through a company's credit card. That's a good, as long as it's the company's credit card, right? That's a company account. I like that answer. Is that okay, Joe? Can we use the company's credit card?
No, it's maybe. It depends. So really, you want to make all of your business purchases through your business bank account. If you don't have if you're using a credit card, make sure it's the business credit card. Now you could pay for it any way you want, but it makes it harder to account for. So again, the best systems are simple, and it's a lot easier if everything's going through one account.
That's the most simplistic answer. A used check. Okay, so yeah, you can use checks. In fact, when you pay things with a check, a lot of times you don't necessarily have to pay a fee. And that's true even with like states, when they're collecting their taxes, they are using a credit card system now. So like in New Jersey, for example,
they're charging you a fee, right?
In New Jersey, for example, even if you have a corporation, you have to pay $500 a year. All right. There is no zero return in the state of New Jersey. And don't you know, if you go into the state of New Jersey and you're going to file that return, well, you're going to pay a service fee to use your credit card. But if you can mail them a check, you only have to pay them that minimum $500, but you're still going to pay them, all right?
Those little fees add up too. You'd be
They do.
surprised.
They do. And be aware that clients, they're not going to want to wait to get paid. So they're going to do that instant transfer. You can track how many times they do that and how much they're paying in fees for those instant transfers. But if they had patience and if they just waited, they wouldn't have to pay those fees. And that's where you can help save them money. And that's a benefit to just looking at their accounts. Let's see what's in credit. What is it cool about content available on .gov sites? All right, I might be the only one who thinks that content on the government sites is cool.
No, I think it's pretty cool because you can use it. You can copy and paste it. There's no copyright against it, right?
Yep, that is exactly correct. Remember, it's public information. Anything that's on these .gov sites, you can take it, you can use it to your benefit, you can copy it. You barely even have to change it, and you're not going to be against any copyright laws, and you'll make sure that you have the right answer.
Not only that, they want you to copy it. They want you, and that increases your SEO, right?
It does, yes. So say you write articles about different tax laws or different things in business, and you're using that to promote yourself. Use backlinks, link back to the .gov sites. Okay, that is a primary source. There's a difference between primary sources and secondary sources. The more you can link back to a primary source, the more validation you have on the information that you are providing. Okay, you don't necessarily want to link back to the H&R Block site. Maybe you do if you're like somehow getting money from H&R Block for doing that, but really it's better to do it from the .gov sites.
Yeah, you can refer back to the Bedrock site, but Davina says it's also reliable info.
That's true. That's true.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Uh-huh.
Be careful.
And I like the idea of referring back to the Bedrock Business Builders site, because I hope all of you are either joining the course and becoming a certified Bedrock Business Builders accountant and bookkeeper, or you're going to become a Bedrock Business Builders affiliate and start collecting fees for letting us help you help your clients. Okay.
And also, let's put the link up there for the YouTube channel, because that's a good resource. You know, I'm going to be I don't know if Marianne realizes this, but I'm going to be interviewing Marianne for our YouTube channel.
Yes.
We're going to talk all about the website and some of the great work that she's doing. And potentially we'll be interviewing our students. And there's a lot of tax info, a lot of great info. There's also all of our interviews on the YouTube channel. And I'm pretty proud of it.
All right, there's the YouTube channel. Dun, 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 dun. There is, it's the information that Joe shares is invaluable. I have to admit that I started working with Joe because I started watching his lives and listening to him and realizing that he just knew all of this information. It astounded me, and I was always very entertained. Okay. And if you ever see him doing his suspenders, I totally told him to do that. Okay, everybody. I thought it was hysterical.
You didn't think I would do it.
And I didn't think you would do it.
Now people come, my daughter's father-in-law comes up to me because now he's following me. He's like, I love what you do with those suspenders. And I'm like, it wasn't my height. So now I feel obligated to do it.
Sometimes you've got to create interesting content. You got to be outside of the box. So true or false? Let's see. Any agreement that costs $500 or over must be in writing to be enforceable. This is a contract law in the United States.
So Honeylet says true. I would agree with that because you're putting it in there, so.
It is true. If you are gonna have an agreement that costs over
Doesn't
$500.
that go by state law?
No, it's contract law. Section, I can.
So contracts are dictated by the federal government?
Yeah, there's federal contract law.
Oh, wow. Well, that's just like the labor laws. There's federal labor laws, but then there's also state laws. So are there state contract laws?
There are state laws that have to do with contracts for sure, but this is where the
So, this is important if you're going to be doing work with anybody. We have clients now, we have them sign contracts. Everything is in writing. We have a very efficient, low-cost CFO program. So, even though we have it in writing, some people say recently, like, oh, I thought my CFO price included my tax returns. Well, it doesn't, and it's in your contract. Not that we're going to go to court with anybody, but it's just good to have in writing. It's good business practices. It leaves, nothing up to, you could still get into issues, but would you agree, Elizabeth? I mean, just having it in writing makes it.
Yes, having things in writing makes things clear. When you have a contract or when you're working with a client, especially as an independent contractor, right? You want to make sure that they know what your deliverables are and you know what your deliverables are. You're not going to say, I can do everything for you. Do not do that. In fact, under promise and over deliver. Okay, that is the whole like spiel with that. And then this, I'll put it in the chat, is the guides for government contracts and its statutes and regulations. This is a very interesting website. It's the Library of Congress and it's research guides.
Yeah, you don't need this to do taxes in the United States, though.
No, yeah, no. So I totally just gave you guys something. I gave you something that
it's overwhelming enough. We're gonna scare people away.
I know. I'm sorry, Joe. I just got excited. Okay. Don't let me give you too many resources. Okay, everybody. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see if we have one last joke. I will eat my words if they come out with an edible version of this game.
I
don't know if you guys have this game.
What is Scrabble?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Joe's retaining it.
Right.
So do you guys have Scrabble in the Philippines? Do you play that game? Is that a game yeah? All right. See, we got some yeses. Thank goodness. We don't want to be out of touch.
Okay.
We're almost done. And it is 11:12. Name a storage system for your digital files. What are you guys using to store your files? Anything? Everything? Just your computer? I know we kind of talked about it before. Dropbox. Joe's gonna riddle them off. Ooh, we've got some in the chat. G Drive, Box. What is this? Tax Dome. Patrick, you've got some.
Oh yeah, I heard of that. A lot of people use that. OneDrive. Yeah, OneDrive keeps trying to take over everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a Windows machine, so they keep telling me, oh, we're going to save this to OneDrive. And I have to click, no, you're not.
External hard drive. I like the external hard drive answer. I'm a fan of that one. All right, everybody, protect. Now, after protect, I'm going to say, okay, how do you block ads on your computer? Oh, this is a fun one. Because if you don't do
Turn it
this,
off.
you can't be doing it.
Turn it off.
Some of them you can turn off, but there's actually a way to do it. There's a program. It's called
That's
ad.
not the malware thing?
No, it's not the malware. So this is where you've got.
God, now there's another program I need.
No, well, it's free, Joe.
Oh, ad blocker. Okay.
It's ad block. Okay, it makes it so you don't get all those crazy pop-ups.
Wait, what's this unblock origin?
Yeah, see, so we've got ad blocker. Turn off notifications on settings in the settings. That's a good thing too. I like that one. uBlock origin. Ad blocker and Chrome. Cool. See, y'all have some amazing answers. I told you, you guys have the right answers. I don't necessarily have the right answers. Hot dog. And then the last question on the board is, what did you learn out of this workshop? What is your takeaway? All right, what is the big thing today that you took away from this workshop that you're going to carry over?
I know what I took away. I'm amazed at how many people signed up. And because this was short notice, we only decided to do this like a couple of weeks ago. We didn't do a lot of promotion, and a lot of people have stayed for a long time. So that inspires me. So thank you, everybody.
So here we go. To learn more about USA taxation, that's a great answer. I just learned about shareholders, and a corporation needs to pay individual taxes. That is true, shareholder. True. What I was amazed, so there's a fair amount of people in this room right now that are already signed up for the course. If you're signed up for the course, say you're signed up for the course. Look, there's Bethesda. Are we gonna start it right? Did you join in to the Google Classroom, right? Have you checked out Opportunity? Okay. Yeah, I'm overwhelmed with a lot of resources to study and guides. Yep, we are so excited. Yes, woohoo. I like the yeses.
So can I say something about the overwhelm? Because that's easy. Listen, I'm doing this 40 years. I could still get overwhelmed. Okay, it's not possible for one person to keep up with everything that's going on. You want to reach out to your peers. You want to have a team. You want to have eyes and ears open. And also you want to focus. You know, we focus on very small businesses. It's as uncomplicated as it can get, believe it or not. Okay, if you're like Larry Broughton, you're running a $250 million empire, that's a whole nother level. But what you want to do is focus. Don't get overwhelmed, because there's always going to be something that you don't know. And Elizabeth's got the best thing for that. You just say, I'll get back to you. Right?
Yeah, that's true. You never have to give a definitive answer in the moment. In fact, people appreciate it if you hear their question and then you think about it and you say, you know, I'm going to have to get back to you. And then you get back to them. That's the whole key to that. You got to follow up. You can't just get them lost in the sauce.
You tell them, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Let me get back to her.
And thank you all for staying here today. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to continue giving you a free resource. So here's my corporations outline that I did from law school. All right. So his book focuses on S corps. And I got to tell you that I have nothing in there about S corps because they didn't teach me about it. It's that big of a secret within the industry. Okay. So I highly recommend, again, his book outside of the corporations outline that I have, but it gives you a good idea of what of what we're doing. The other thing that I can give you is my tax law outline. All right. And again, this is not, it's not complete. All right. You can't become an enrolled agent with my tax law outline. Okay. I'm gonna say that right now.
Is Corinne still in the room?
I think Corinne is still
Okay.
in the room, or she might not be in the room. We
Okay.
can, there's Corinne. Corinne, you want to do me a favor and share the link to the course one more time? We need you in
Also,
the
maybe
room.
I'd like Corinne to turn on her video and maybe say a few things, but also I love putting Corinne on the spot. But she is integral to our business. But the reason why I called you out, Corinne, is I'd like you to reach out to Marianne and schedule her for a podcast. Okay, so yeah.
Can I
Like,
spotlight
there's-
Corinne? I'm gonna spotlight you, Corinne. There you go.
Hey, Corinne, you look lovely tonight.
Thank you. Hi, Joe, Liz, and everyone.
Thank you for helping Elizabeth organize the course. I'm really excited about the classroom. I mean, I'm excited. If everybody else thinks they're excited, nobody's more excited than me. So thank you for being the glue that keeps us all together. And what would you like to tell the students and potential students anything about the course?
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, we've actually uploaded a bunch of courses in Google Classroom already. So for those who have previously enrolled, for our active students, you can already go into the course, start reviewing parts 1 and 2. We're going to start the first class next week. That will be Saturday, Philippine time, 9 a.m. as well. So in order to prepare for that, we suggest you go into the classroom, review both of the materials. There are a lot of resources there as well. And for those who haven't signed up yet, for those who are still thinking if they're gonna enroll, we actually guarantee that you'll be learning a lot. This is actual stuff, actual work that we're doing. So you'll get to see how it goes from the first step, like how our accountants are doing their tax preparation, and how us in marketing, how we market, basically how we market the business. So how we get a lot of clients, and we're going to teach you how we properly onboard different people, whether they are clients or affiliates, how they help the business grow. So it's a big guarantee that you're gonna learn a lot. And if you want to like hone your skills, Joe is very good at teaching. He loves teaching people, so we won't disappoint you. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna put the link in the chat.
Did the first email go out? Because if you're in the program, the email's going out with you. You already have homework to do. Okay, we already
Yeah, so the email went out last night. Last night, that's 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. here in the Philippines. So everyone who subscribed into the course, you should be able to get that, and you can go into Google Classroom. We started adding everyone who's enrolled. So there are just a few who has not accepted the invite yet into the classroom, but you can do that after this meeting or later today, so you can go into it. Okay, so the link is now in the chat. For those who haven't enrolled yet, you can sign up through that link, and it will ask you for an initial deposit. And if you have any other questions about payment plans, you can just email me.
No, and I put Kareen's email in the chat. All right,
Excellent.
because she's fantastic. She will answer all of your questions. She will get back to you. We are going to all be within the Google Classroom and available to answer questions. We will be live for the classes. We hope that you read the information. In fact, it's not just hope. We're saying you can, you do, you will do this information because it's beneficial to you. And Kareen, so we had a workshop before, and in between we had lots of emails that gave a lot of resources. If I sign up now, can I get access to those resources? Can I get access to those emails? Is that possible?
Yes, definitely. So if you're gonna sign up just now, you'll be able to get all the resources that we've shared since day one.
Okay,
Marvelous.
awesome. And Marianne is a student. Have you started your studying yet, Marianne?
Yeah, the sales for the New York. I was reading it when I have a time. There's a lot of reading materials. I'm so happy, and a lot of freebies, even as early as now.
Yeah. So, all right.
Yes,
Would you like to say anything to close us out, Marianne?
Yeah, so again, thank you for accounting people. You never fail to amaze me every day. So for the warm support, even supporting on my YouTube channel, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share. So please stand by for my interview also to Joe with the YouTube channel. We're planning to have interview with him. And again, just a piece of advice. We're doing this. This is a piece of advice. Doing the business, you have to really collaborate, not only for your own, but for your own business. Collaboration will make your life easy, connect with other people, your clients, build good relationship with your clients, and you will never know, the money will overflow. That's all. Thank you,
Yes.
accounting people.
Very good. Very good advice.
I have one last announcement. So there's a question from Eileen Cabanilla. She's asking for the code to enter the class. I would suggest you enter using the registered email address that you used when you signed up with Bedrock, because otherwise it will ask for a code. So if you use your registered email address, you'll go directly into the class. No need for that anymore.
Okay, awesome. Anything else? Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Elizabeth. Thanks, Corinne. Thanks, Jaja. I think, and Victoria for our SMM.
yes.
Marianne, I'll get in touch with you for the podcast.
Yes. I thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
Okay.
you, guys. Happy weekend.
Fine.
Night,
Thank you.
good night from New
Have a
York.
fabulous
Bye.
night.
Thank you. Thank you.